The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to the Senior Show, where we have two wild and aging guys. This is Neil Himmelstein, co-host of Main Street Planning Group, and here with Tim Kennedy.
Hey, Tim Kennedy here, and I am your certified reverse mortgage professional, co-host with Neil of the Senior Show. And we air every Monday at 5 p.m., and our goal is really to educate you out there and give you a little peace of mind and give you the expertise that we have and we can share with you if and when you have a question or a concern regarding financing, regarding home ownership, regarding health related, or whatever the case may be. We want to be your advocate and your tool. Right. But more importantly, Neil, we have a great guest today. Do you want to introduce our guest?
Well, we've got to talk about change because, change.
Oh, and change, right.
Change is happening all around us every day, every minute. Things happen. Families change. People change. People live. People die. Children get born. People get divorced. Ownership things, but today, I just want you to keep that in mind because I want to bring up a special topic today. Today we have Jackie Cara. Say hello, Jackie.
Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Jackie did my other show.
Yep, I heard that on Friday, right?
Last week. Yep, absolutely. And Jackie is an estate planning attorney. She does wills, trusts, estate. Tell us what you do and where you work.
I have a full-service estate planning firm, is what I call it. Cara Law. My office is in Garden City. And yes, I started as a special needs planning attorney and then eventually grew into an elder law, asset protection, wills, trust, estates, probate, trust administration, and guardianship.
Awesome. One of the things I run into a lot, and I had a real wacky client last year.
Neil, they're all wacky.
No.
I wasn't going to say that.
Not wacky, but the structure. They had... This was about 5 years ago. They had, it was maybe a little longer. See, time flies, man.
Well, I take that back. I don't mean wacky like wacky. I mean every scenario
Everybody has a different
wacky scenario or a skeleton in the closet. Nothing's easy.
So my favorite thing, sorry to interrupt you, Neil, my
okay.
favorite thing that people say when they call for a consultation is, I just have a simple...
Well, that's the worst word you could write.
I just need a simple will.
Well, you know what they say to me all the time when I'm going through the mortgage application? I'll say, well, and how do you pay your mortgage? And they'll say, oh, well, we're up to date now.
No.
That is the scariest statement you ever want to hear, because now, well, when wasn't it up to date and what happened and why? You know, so that's always a scary statement.
Well, yeah, what happened in this case, and I don't see it a lot anymore, but they had the house as tenants in common, and it was 4 people. It was a husband, I don't know whoever set this up, a wife, a son, and a daughter. Now, this is where it gets wacky. During COVID, the husband died. And
I remember you talking about this once before. Yeah.
Yeah. And her son died.
Oh, boy.
Now, the son was married to a woman and they had a child who tried to disassociate them from their grandchild. So I don't want to put you through this head trauma right now, but the daughter is entitled to a certain percentage. The daughter-in-law, who doesn't speak to her sister-in-law or mother, she wants her piece of the house, which is the main part of her estate and his estate. I'm not sure whether he died first. Anyhow, to carve up the percentage is not a clean thing to do.
No.
So this whole tenants in common thing, I don't see it very much anymore. Do you, Jackie?
I do. I see it, and I think people don't know what it means.
Right.
I think people have deeds that are written as tenants in common, and they don't really understand what that means.
Right. So tell us what that means.
So it means you each own a piece, right? When your tenants buy the entirety, like a husband and wife buys a piece of property, you each own the whole thing.
Right.
So one dies, the other one just becomes the owner. You don't need a probate, you don't need a trust, you don't need any of those things. The survivor just owns the whole thing. When you're tenants in common, unless it comes with rights of survivorship, which is additional language in the deed, right? Everybody owns their piece of the property. So if somebody dies, I see this a lot with parents and children.
Right.
If somebody dies in that scenario, somebody's got to buy somebody out, or the property has to be sold to give the person who died, to give their beneficiaries their piece, which can really be a mess that people are not expecting. Like they don't really understand that I only own half this house.
Right.
And when
and
somebody dies, what's going to happen?
And they want their inheritance, and they realize, gee whiz, I can't get this until this house is either refinanced or sold.
Exactly.
Right.
See, that could be a scary scenario. And even if somebody dies, let's say without a will, let's say one of the spouses has a savings or a checking account and has no beneficiary on it.
Probate.
It doesn't.
I say that like it's a terrible word, probate. But yeah,
it was very eerie the way you said that.
Really?
Probate.
Really?
Yeah, if you die with an asset in your name alone, with no beneficiary, no co-owner, it has to go through either an intestate proceeding, which is a probate on steroids, I call it. It's a proceeding where there is no will to determine where the property goes. And if you do have a will, it has to go through your will.
Mm-hmm. So talking real property, house. Listen, Tim is a certified reverse mortgage specialist. You're an estate attorney. I'm an insurance specialist. All these things come into play somehow. Anyhow, but ownership of things is important. But let's talk about real property. So we talked about tenants in common. We're talking about owning it yourself. What if it's owned in a trust? It could be, I hear a lot of attorneys, they talk about setting up a Medicaid trust or a house trust or a special trust, or what type of trust. There's different types. There's like irrevocable. It could be owned by irrevocable. Tell me about that a little bit. So
there are lots of different kinds of trusts, but I basically put them in two baskets, right? You have revocable trusts and you have irrevocable trusts. Revocable trusts are primarily designed to distribute assets without probate. Gotcha. They do some other things. There are some other good benefits to doing that. But primarily when clients come to me and they want to talk about revocable trust, they want to avoid probate.
Gotcha.
When people come to me and we're talking about irrevocable trust, those are usually people who want to protect assets for future long-term care purposes. So they can qualify for Medicaid and not end up with a lien on the house.
I see. So if somebody they want to protect their house, that's their major asset, and let's say that's pretty much all they got, would they set up a revocable trust or would they set up an irrevocable trust?
It depends. I'm going to say how old they are. The first question I ask is, how old are they? Are they still working? What are their future plans, right?
Gotcha.
If they're people who are in their 50s, which is very commonly the age group of my clients, it's probably a little early to start putting things in irrevocable trusts because you lose control.
Ah.
Right? So I think I've heard you say this on the show before when you're talking about irrevocable trust planning or you're talking about Medicaid and asset protection. The further away from an asset you are, the more protected it is, the less control you have.
Right.
So if we're putting it into an irrevocable trust, somebody else is the trustee.
Right.
Somebody else is in charge.
Right. So in the life insurance world, I just started using a lot more revocable trusts. I've always used irrevocable life insurance trusts, which is it keeps the money completely out of your estate because you don't have the ownership. So for wealthy people or people with means that really are afraid of estate taxes, it's very common to set up an irrevocable life insurance trust. But there are times you want to set up a revocable life insurance trust and then maybe make it irrevocable down the road, just like a house. And yes. I just learned this technique. See, you learn every day, right?
Learn something new every day.
And I was taught to this by another attorney, and I'm like, darn, that makes sense. Because life insurance can be used in other ways. Because it's a living and breathing thing, a lot of people, a lot of real estate investors in particular, put a lot of cash into these policies so that they don't have to take loans out or get a mortgage when they want to flip a house or do something else. They'll take it out of their insurance, they'll borrow it, they'll pay it back when they feel like it. It's not like a regular loan. They don't have to apply for it. It's their money. Mm-hmm. and they use it like a bank.
Yeah.
So when they use it like a bank, I like to set that up as a revocable trust. And a lot of people that flip houses and stuff, they're not liquid. They want to flip into another house, and they're constantly
moving it. Yeah,
so as they're constantly moving it, they're using these life insurance contracts to do that. But inside a revocable trust is a cool way of doing that.
Well, because you're still in control of what's in it.
Right. But down the road, they get sick, something else. We immediately talk about, okay, this is an asset you have to leave because of your liquidity. We may switch it to an irrevocable trust.
Exactly right.
Very interesting thing we've been doing lately. And this is kind of recent that been playing with these type of trusts.
Good stuff, Neil. Hey, Neil.
Oh, my God.
Is that the music we hear already?
Oh, already? We didn't even get to the good stuff yet.
Well, that's why you have part 2 of this.
Oh.
Hey, it's Tim Kennedy here, your certified reverse mortgage professional. If you have any questions or concerns regarding a reverse mortgage, give me a call, 516-729-6040. We'll save the best for last. Neil?
Neil Himmelstein, best way to reach me, 631-647-4694. And Jackie?
Jackie Cara, 516-217-9200.
Fantastic.
There you go.
We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you. Welcome back to the Senior Show, where you have two wild and aging guys. We did that for Jackie's purposes.
Jackie, I can't tell you how long it's taken us to actually get that thing in sync. It's really unbelievable.
You're very good at it now.
Thank you. Yes. My wife actually came up with it, so I give her credit. She
is the brain thrust behind
that
all
was
of
good.
this. Yeah.
Me, I have no brains. I just kind of do what I do, so it's all good stuff. Anyhow, Jackie, Tim and you were talking about something that's... What were you talking about? Medicaid? What were you saying?
We were talking about the irrevocable trusts, and,
right.
and the everybody says, "Oh, 5-year look back, 5-year look back," but everybody says it, but nobody really understands what that means, right? So maybe Jackie, you can explain to us a little, go a little bit elbow deep into what a 5-year look back means, and what happens in 3 years, or like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What happens?
Okay, so what a look back period is, it's a Medicaid thing. So if you're applying for skilled nursing care, institutional Medicaid is the name of the program in the application. Medicaid, on the day you apply, doesn't look at your bank account and say, oh, that's what you have available to pay for your care. They look at your finances 5 years back. That's the look back period. And they want to see everything you had for the last 5 years. And what they're looking for are transfers. Things they think you should not have gotten rid of, things they think you should not have gotten out of your name and would otherwise have available to pay for your care. So if in that 5 years prior to your application, you set up an irrevocable Medicaid asset protection trust and moved your house into it, they're going to say, nope, wait, not so fast. We consider that available. Now, a house is a little tricky because there's a lot of places where a house is protected, but say the same thing with cash. Say you put $100,000 into an irrevocable trust. Medicaid's going to count that. They're going to say, oh, you should have that $100,000 to pay for your care. Right. It's available. Yeah. If you gave large gifts to your kids, same thing. They're going to say, oh, that was very nice of you, however, that we're going to count that money as available to pay for your care. And you incur a penalty period for whatever that number is, meaning you have to pay for your own care, whether you actually have the assets or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm hearing nightmares about the length of time it takes to get this process approved. In other words, how long does it take them to do this look back period, and by the time you process papers, and it's not like, oh, here, you got Medicaid.
No, it's not like that. So it takes a while. And a lot of the reason it takes a while...
Well, what's a while?
Months.
So, okay.
So meanwhile, you're footing the bill all those months.
So there is a retroactive period, right? You can be Medicaid eligible. You can there is a retroactive period. But yeah, if it takes 6 months, there's not enough retroactivity for that.
Let me ask you a question. So prior to COVID, I'm sorry, Neil, prior to COVID, there was all those hoopla about a look-back period now for community Medicaid.
That's right.
I think it was 30 months.
Yeah, and 2.5 years.
And then through COVID, they put it on the back burner. And then I heard some conversation about it after COVID. But now in the last year or 2-3 years, it's kind of like I haven't heard any conversations about it at all. What's happening with that?
Nobody knows. So every year I go to this elder law forum, and it happened to be yesterday.
Okay.
And so, of course, this comes up. It comes up every year at this forum.
Where is that forum held?
It's in Albany.
Okay.
It comes up every year at this forum and everywhere else, but every year at this forum. And I happened to be there yesterday. And it's still, they don't know.
Okay.
They're still saying every year they say it's going to trigger this year. Oh, it's going to be 6 months. Oh, it's going to be in July. But it has not happened yet.
Yeah, 'cause that's something we need to stay on top of and pay attention to.
Well,
that.
it makes a huge difference in planning,
Yes,
for sure.
sure.
If you could, not everybody understands until they're faced with something, really what Medicaid is. I mean, what do you need to be, where do you need to be to get Medicaid, which I can describe it the way I describe it, and you can probably describe it better. I call it, you have to basically impoverish yourself.
Yes.
So that the government will pick up your health care costs, correct?
It's long-term care.
Long-term
so it's health care costs, but it's the cost of a skilled nursing facility if we're doing an institutional application, which institutional is a horrible word, but that's if you're going into a facility.
They prefer communities, right? Is that the key word now, community?
Elder communities,
Yes.
yeah. Or you have community Medicaid, which is if you're home, like
You
it
wanna stay
sounds.
home.
Home health aides and things like that.
In all honesty, most people, if they had the choice, they would want to stay home.
Most people want to stay home.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to the bad place.
And that's where we get into, the whole idea of aging in place.
Yes.
And the possibility of a reverse mortgage to access that equity in the home. Right? I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but homeowners today over the age of 62 are carrying $14 trillion of home equity. Mm-hmm. And why are we not using that as part of the retirement income plan and long-term care possibilities, right?
Right. So because they want to leave the money to the kids.
Well, yeah, but like when you go on an airplane, Jackie, right? What do they tell you? The first thing you need to do if there's an emergency, put the asking box on yourself first, and then take care of the person next to you. I tell this to my clients all the time. You need to take care of yourself first.
Yes.
And then whatever's left over, goes to the children. Right, and whoever started that idea, I'd like to smack him in the head because, that's bad planning on somebody's part. But my wife and I go through the same thing. We want to leave a legacy, to our children and grandchildren, but we need to take care of ourselves first, and that's important.
Right.
So there's a spectrum of people on that issue, right? I have clients who want everything left for the children. They're willing to put everything into an irrevocable trust.
And I know people. I forget who said it, Neil, but the guy's like, I want to bounce checks on my way out the door.
I had a guy come into my office and he said, my goal in life is to write one final check to the funeral home and have it bounce. That is my plan. I don't care what my children get.
Yeah. Well, here's the main issue. So the government is Medicaid. They're the number one provider of long-term care, because your health insurance doesn't cover long-term care in the country. The number one provider. Medicaid is government-paid long-term care when you run out of money. They hate elder law attorneys because elder law attorneys are trying to help, because I had a congressman on here who proposed some long-term care things on my show a couple years ago. I could mention his name. It's not a big deal, and he understands. But he says, well, lawyers are this is their thought process, are purposely trying to get to this Medicaid bucket of money, which is the most costly line item in our budget, which is being slashed and burned. Mm-hmm. So politicians hate it because it's such a big budget item for both the federal and state government.
Sure.
Lawyers, many attorneys, they want to help you get there, especially if you're middle income or middle low, because really the cost of long-term care is ridiculous. And I try that you never have to speak to the attorney and try and get you some sort of long-term care insurance, or I work in conjunction with the attorney to make sure that you have a plan so that your assets don't get depleted. But if you're lucky, I say lucky, or if you happen to be a recipient of Medicaid, I'm not saying lucky. The government decides not only the care you get, where you go, and the type of care you get. And do you want them deciding where the type of care you get forever? So I try and avoid it as much as possible. Legally, we have to arrange for that eventuality because over 70% of us, and if we're a couple, it's like 85, 90%, are going to need some sort of care, whether it's in the home or outside the home. It is so critical. It is such a major, major problem that the planning for long-term care is so important. So Tim has some solutions in helping you liquefy some of the house. Jackie has some solutions, some legal solutions.
Jackie mentioned it before, maybe you mentioned it before, it's all about control and liquidity. And the three of us in this room can help you out there listening, or somebody you may know out there, with that control and liquidity.
And there's no one magic bullet for anybody. Everybody has to have their unique plan that works for them and their family.
Hey, Jackie,
I know we're running out of
You
time.
were a tremendous guest today. Can we have you back?
Sure.
Would you like? Cause, I mean, we only skimmed the surface on some of this stuff, but we'd love to have you back and kind of go a little deeper into these conversations.
Yeah.
The music's playing, so that means it's the end of the show. So my name is Tim Kennedy. You're a certified reverse mortgage professional, and you can reach me at 516-729-6040, or you can reach me at timtalksreverse.com.
And Jackie, how can people get a hold of you?
Cara Law, 516-217-9200.
And this is Neil Himmelstein. You can reach me at 631-647-4694. Great to have everybody. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Jackie.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.